Back to Larry's Anything Goes. Hopefully you guys are having a great and exceptional day. Today's word of the day is swallow. And swallow stands for basically, having to ingest something, we eat, drink coffee or I swallow it when I consume it, eat food, I swallow it. And a lot of times, especially working people and most rich people, as far as people who are whether they're self-made or whether it was down to inheritance or anything of that nature, they don't have to swallow their pride as often because uh, they can be the big arrogant pompous jerks in the room, regardless of the background, and because the money talks. They always say who you do business with and who you bank with holds way more power than who you vote for. So the more money one has and the more business deals that one can do, and when they're not specifically working for anybody and they're always working for themselves, and the clientele doesn't care what they say as long as the money comes in, they can say whatever they want. You see that with Elon Musk, see that with Donald Trump, you see that with a lot of these people, whether they have liberal or conservative principles or backgrounds. I always find both sides to be full of crap anyways, but that's just me. I always say when rich people are not talking about how they're making money or how you can make money, how you can get tax benefits, then I know the hustle's on. The best way to get played is somebody to play you is in any situation in life is when they continuously talk to you about things that have nothing to do with making you healthier or have nothing to do with things that help you make more money. That's the adult male aspect of my mindset. So regardless of what side anybody's on, when it comes to politics, I don't pick a side. I think both sides are full of it. If I don't hear men, women, Republican, Democrat, if I don't hear them talking about money, then there's, you see the shirt that I have on, it says I make money moves. So I like to be around people that are talking about making money moves, not talking about political feelings. But that's just my personal opinion. Anyways, working people have to swallow a lot of things because they don't have any say-so. They have a boss they have to work for, and they have to do what they're told. That's just the way it is. And most people have to swallow their pride because if everybody was able to, that's just the world we live in. And I think the most professional thing anybody can do is not everything needs to be displayed to the world. Not every opinion needs to be expressed. I've had to learn that the hard way. I'm not perfect. A lot of times you just keep things to yourself. Certain things are better left unsaid. Excuse me. I know we live in a time of the social media world where everybody's speaking their mind, but if most people spoke their mind, especially at a job, I think there'd be anarchy at work. If most people spoke their mind in public, I think there would be anarchy in the streets. Sometimes discipline requires, regardless of where you live at in the world, discipline requires you to not overindulge in anything. You know what I mean? So if you're alcoholic beverage drinker, you're not supposed to overindulge. When you do, then you can become a quote unquote alcoholic. Same thing with people, because marijuana is basically legal in most states. I don't indulge. I'm not a fan of it, but people do it. And doing so much of that can be bad for you. Working out, like I love to work out. I work out 5 days a week. Even overindulging yourself in working out can be detrimental to your health. Sex, eating even healthy food, even eating unhealthy food. Everything in life requires some sort of a balance. And if you're not trying to have some sort of a reasonable balance in life, then one, if you don't hurt yourself, that's a big chance. But number two, then it just becomes boring. And this is no shade towards the marijuana smokers. I'm not mad at you, but I think we can safely say in 2023, now that marijuana is legal in most states, it's not that big of a deal as far as for the adults in the room, not the people who are teenagers who thinks wow, cool. But for the adults in the room, trying to have a long in-depth discussion about marijuana unless there's business involved, I don't understand that conversation. And people are like, well, that's because you don't indulge. Yeah, I don't indulge. But like that's just, for me, it just doesn't make sense. Like I said, I'm just speaking for me specifically. Okay. But having a long in-depth discussion about that, and you're not talking about how you can profit from it, don't understand it. But that's just me personally. And just overindulging, having to swallow your pride, is something that most people have to do because you forfeit good relationships, not even just friendships, but relationships. Most people that have built the best relationships in the world, it's not because they express their political beliefs or their religious beliefs, but it's because they just express that, hey, we might not agree on everything, but we have a common goal. Because and to be quite honest with you, if the world did not have that mindset, just think about the world from a global perspective. If the world did not have that, then the world would be constantly at war with one another. And if you're constantly at war with one another, that means you can't build. It's like being in an unhealthy, toxic friendship or relationship. If there's always bickering going on, there's always arguing going on, yelling back and forth going on, then that means you're in a position to where you can't grow because your time is being wasted. You're not being able to utilize your talents wisely because you're always arguing, always at war. You know, the beautiful thing about the U.S. military is that they're able to constantly train and practice, engage with a multitude of different countries all at the same time, and practice and become the best that they can be on a regular and daily basis. But if they're always constantly at war and you don't have any time to regroup, you know, it's like when people get deployed into a war zone. If you never have time to come home and regroup and whatnot, then you're not going to be any good for your cohorts on the battlefield. Everybody needs some rest and relaxation. You know, everybody needs some time away to regroup. We all need a chance to regroup, regardless of what we do in this life. We all, you know, that's why vacation is imperative in life. Now, when I say vacation, I'm not just talking about sitting on the beach, taking selfies and sipping alcoholic beverages or whatever you do. But a lot of times it's vacation from your day to day, just doing something different. Like a friend of mine, a high school friend of mine, was like, when he goes on vacation, he really rather just stay at the home and relax because he's a blue collar worker. And so he works with his hands. So being able to relax and enjoy the house that he pays for, a staycation as they call it, is something that he loves to do. I'm not mad at that. I told him, I said, well, it's your vacation. Do what you do. I like to travel. This year, I'm going to travel the most that I've ever had in my life. But I like to travel not only just to get away, but I like to travel to engage and learn, you know, and things of that nature. So today's quote of the day is by 50 Cent. He says, I'm the type to swallow my blood before I swallow my pride. And that's just the kind of guy that 50 Cent is. But 50 Cent is, he's an all-around serial entrepreneur. So he's the type that, because I believe that he's had creative differences with the network that he was working with. I believe he had creative differences with the network that he's been working with in regards to all his different shows and whatnot. So he did the smart thing. He did the boss move thing by creating his own studio. Like Dame Dash has his own studio in Los Angeles, okay? And I believe between Los Angeles and North Carolina. And he wants to do things his own way. He doesn't want to have to just work with a network. And he has a great, because of social media, that changed the game with a lot of people being able to say, hey, I can just download an app and watch it on my phone or watch it on a computer or watch it on my smart TV and be good. I don't need to, you know, watching the old guard and the old networks and whatnot is not my thing. It bores, they bore me. And I get it now, especially given the fact that most of the stuff, like nowadays, the writers on strike in Hollywood, and I get why they are on strike, but to me it doesn't matter because I think Hollywood had its heyday yesterday. So I think most of the best writing, creativity that's been done from a film perspective, because I'm not a movie buff. I used to be, but I'm not anymore, because most of the movies suck today because most of the movies are anime based. And I'm a guy that likes reality shows. I mean, when I say reality TV, I'm not talking about, the nonsense. I like it's not reality. I like shows that are realistic, like Chicago PD, Law and Order, New York Undercover. Those are the kind of shows. The reason why I like the cop / bad guys and robbers shows, or the shows that were based off of true stories, because I like to watch stuff that's more relatable. Even when it comes to comedy, I love to get a good laugh, but I like to listen to comedians that can that I'm more relatable to, you know, that can bring everyday situations to the conversation. The reason why I didn't particularly care for Chris Rock's special is because it just didn't have that oomph that I like. You know, Marlon Wayans' special was good, you know, but most of the new specials that are out there, especially on Netflix, not my favorite. You know, the best comedians out there to me nowadays are the ones that are popping on social media. They're not popping on Netflix, you know, because the ones on Netflix are handpicked. The ones on social media, it's up for the people to decide whether you rock with it or not. So that's just what it is. And it's the same thing with 50 Cent. It's like, hey, you know, he has a good products that he puts out there. He knows what the people want to see. And because of the creative differences, there's no point of him having to swallow his pride. he can just say, okay, well, cool. Once our contracts are done, we can part separate ways peacefully and respectfully. I bought a bunch of land and commercial facilities and whatnot in Texas, and I'm just going to start filming my own stuff. Most likely he'll just put it out, either put it out on another network or just put it out there on another app because he knows what the people want to see. And build his own relationships and build his own deals. And a place like Hulu, Netflix, and Amazon Prime, they're going to be like, hey, there's a good product, whether we agree with it or not, let's make some money moves with it. So on that note, do the great three things, like, share, and subscribe. Have a great day. Make money moves, or you're going to live like a fool. Take care.